All right, everyone, welcome back to Rhythm and Roads. This is the 2 year anniversary with 100 plus interviews, and I have a very special guest on this episode. We have actress, singer, musician, and former Massachusetts, and we have Alissa Musto from all the way from Las Vegas.
Well, I'm living in El Paso now, but I'm originally from Boston.
Oh, you're from Boston. I'm sorry, I thought
Mhm.
you were somewhere like in Vegas or something.
I'm always on the go, so I get that all the time. There's a good chance when people check my social media and they see
That's
like the
probably
last place
why.
I am, it's always someplace super random for shows. I get associated with a lot of different places.
No, yeah, that's fine. Well, I have to say that's incredible that you are an actress, singer, musician, and former Miss Massachusetts. Like, wow,
Well, thank
that's
you.
yeah, and it's such a honor to have you on Rhythm and Roads as well. But of course, we want to get to know your story, of course, from the chapter one of the beginning. But
Mhm.
yeah, let's get to know you. So, just like what interests you at a young age or in your 20s or what that got you to want to pursue acting, being a singer and all that. So,
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. But first of all, I want to say congratulations on 2 years. That's
oh,
I know
thank
as a
you.
creative and as an artist, sometimes it's really difficult to be a self-starter and to see something through. So I know how difficult that is. So congratulations on a job well done because that consistency and that work ethic, that is definitely something I can relate to and has been
Yeah,
something that's gotten me through my own journey, my own career.
that's awesome.
Um,
But thank you.
Absolutely. So I started playing the piano when I was 4 years old. I did have a little bit of a
Whoa, wow.
home field advantage, I could say, though. My dad is and was a professional pianist, so I had the piano teacher living with me. There's no way I was getting out of it. It was
Yeah.
something that was in the house growing up. I grew up, my whole family were really professional musicians. So
Oh, very
a
cool.
lot of people, they talk about when they were performers and maybe it wasn't encouraged in their household growing up or their parents said they had to get a real job. It was very normal, in my household. I thought everybody's parents do this. So it was quite a different experience for
Yeah.
me. I was performed, throughout my entire childhood, had my dad there to help me along and teach me a lot of stuff. When I went to college, I actually went to school for something completely different, but I was still performing in the piano bars and on
Oh,
the
that's cool.
weekends. So it was, once again, something that was always there.
Yeah.
My senior year is when I started competing in pageants. And a lot of people don't know that Miss America is the largest scholarship provider for women in the
Oh,
entire
wow. I didn't
world.
know that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So it was an opportunity for me to win some money for school.
Very cool.
And 1 month after graduating college, I won Miss Massachusetts, went on to compete at Miss
Wow.
America. And it was really in that moment that I decided that music really was where my passion was. It was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So even though I had considered different options and it was something I was doing on the side, it was then I realized that I wanted to do it full time and pursue that full time.
Heck yeah. I'm glad you did.
So me too. Me too. I've
Yeah.
never looked back. I always had this idea like, well, maybe if I'm 30 and it's not going the way I wanted, or it was initially, maybe when I'm 25 and it's not going the way I wanted it to be, or when I'm 30, it's
Mm,
not going the way I wanted to be, maybe I'll try something else. But I've never reached that crossroads. It's always just been an upward journey.
that's
Um, it started from just performing at the local clubs and bars and piano
wow.
bars back in Boston to working on cruise ships and getting to travel the world by
Dang,
performing.
really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So everything just, you got to take it like one bite at a time and every
Yeah.
opportunity that's been thrown at me, I'm like, yes, I'm ready for it. I'm I'm here for whatever is presented to me, in
Yeah.
this life and in this career. And that's really been the most exciting part is you never know what's going to happen or what opportunities are going to arise in this industry.
Right.
So it's just saying yes to everything and meeting as many people as you can and being as part
Yeah.
of many things as possible. And then you look back and you're like, wow, I've built something really cool for myself.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad that you got to experience so much of just creativity of everything that you love of music and then you competing in the Miss America. Like that's
Mhm.
really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do want to ask though for you being an actress, how did you get started in that?
Well, that's a really great question. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying, just having every opportunity, you know, that comes at you,
Yeah.
being ready for it and being open. So during COVID, when live music pretty much got shut down,
Oh
there were
yeah.
no opportunities for me to perform. Cruises were one of the first things to
Yeah.
go, one of the last things to come back. So I knew I wanted to continue to do something creative, but I had to look at the drawing board and say, all right, what are my other options right now? Because there were people doing live concerts from their homes and things, but it got to a point, I think everyone in the beginning was like, oh, this is going to be a few weeks, maybe a couple months. But it got to a point a year in
Yeah.
where you're like, all right, I need to start looking at other career opportunities. So I knew I wanted to do something creative. And luckily, even though live performance was shut down, there were a lot of companies that were still doing acting projects and commercials
Mm.
and movies and film. There were a lot more protocol as
Right.
far as how you had to be on
Yeah.
set, but it really came down to a local filmmaker took a chance on me. He was doing a commercial for defibrillators for companies to have defibrillators in their establishments, and he said,
Oh,
"Look,
okay.
I know you don't have a reel, but film this audition tape. Just film it at home, and I'll present it to the client and see what they say." So I just like we're doing now. I read this
Yeah.
script, off my phone and sent in a copy of the audition, and they liked it. So that was my first, real
Wow.
professional commercial.
Yeah.
And then from there, once you have, booking the first one is the hardest. So once I had that, I was able to start auditioning for other parts, other pieces, would send that in. Eventually got a few agents behind me that were booking me more
Oh,
and
very
more
cool.
professional up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how that all started.
Okay. And did it lead to like a film or any, have you been in some films?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
done some films and movies and TV shows. Actually, in the El Paso, like Las Cruces area, there's a lot of stuff happening with filmmaking right now.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to be on set with some pretty big productions. The irony is, I don't really watch a lot of television or a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
movies. So, there'd be like these huge name on sets, and everybody was getting really excited. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. But during COVID, I filmed a TV show with USA Network that was national television
Oh,
called
cool.
Snake in the Grass. And I filmed that in Costa Rica, which was really
Hey,
cool.
that is cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did a show, man, probably a year and a half ago already called We Are Family, which was hosted by Anthony Anderson. We filmed that in Atlanta. So it's been a journey. It's been a ride.
Ah, that's awesome. I'm glad.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that even during COVID, you looked for other opportunities and something that you had never tried before. And you're like, hey, why not? I have nothing to lose. Let me try this, which is acting. And here, I feel like God opened that door for you to go to have multiple talents and skill to be able to use, the skills that are within you that you're discovering. And here now you have these variety of different things to do. And it's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's definitely not something that I take for granted. I think we all face crossroads in our lives and our
Yeah.
careers, and it's easy for us to say, why is this happening to us?
Mm.
Um, why are these things, going on? And COVID for a lot of people was such a transformative time. It was an
Oh
opportunity for
yeah.
them to discover new passions and new hobbies.
Yeah.
And I think no matter what chapter of our life we're going through, it is important to remember that, God has a plan for us
Right.
and has put us in this exact moment for this exact reason. And, he'll never abandon us without the tools or the skill sets to get through whatever we're going through.
Wow. Amen on that. Well said. Totally
Thank you.
agree. Because I do know what you're talking about in that aspect of, sometimes it's like, all right, God, this is all I have to what I can use. But then he says, well, that's why you need to have faith and trust me because I'll provide the rest. Just do what I ask. And sometimes
Exactly.
that hard faith part of like, look, you don't know the unknown and you're just like, but like, I don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's like, don't worry about it. Just trust me and I'll meet you there. And then, of course, we have to overcome the fear, the obstacles of the self-doubt, insecurity at times. I bet you've experienced that.
Of course.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we all do. I think that's one of the hardest things about doing this or any creative job professionally,
Hmm.
because you're going to hear no
Mm.
way more than the average person or the average career, on a daily basis. You're going to walk into audition after audition, and 90 plus percent of those times you're going to get a no.
Wow.
And it's very difficult to, after a while, not take that personally,
Oh yeah.
because you're so intertwined with your own craft, and
Right.
it's very hard to be hard on yourself and give yourself honest critique without being like, hey, what's wrong with me?
Right.
So it's finding that perseverance and that strength and saying, okay, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I am where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
and trusting in that process. And, finding that balance though between being your own biggest critic and being your own biggest cheerleader, because we all have things we need to improve on and we need
Right.
to work on,
Totally agree.
but also not letting that get you down.
Right. No, I totally agree. Yes. And that's the thing. It's very important to stay true of knowing who you truly are, right?
Exactly.
Because if you can lose yourself and be like, well, then I'm not meant to do this because I've already got 10, 20 no's. I'm going to just stop. But hey, that extra one that you could go to may lead open to that door.
Absolutely.
And that, yeah. So,
I completely agree with you. And you just appreciate it so much more when you
yeah.
finally get
Oh,
that
yeah. I can
yes,
imagine.
when it's, after been a big series of no's and you finally get that yes, it's like, all right,
Yeah.
this is what it was for. This is,
Yeah.
what I was waiting for. And you appreciate it and enjoy it so much more.
That's right. Totally agree. Well said. I want to get into your music side. I know you have a couple of songs. If you don't mind sharing your first single that you have.
Absolutely. So the one that you probably listened to, I think, "How Still" is the song that's gotten the most traction, and that was something that I wrote during COVID, immediately after all the shutdowns first started happening.
Okay.
The story behind that song is very personal to me, and is that something that a lot of people can tell right off the bat from listening to the song. So when COVID first hit back in March of 2020, I was working on a cruise ship, and the cruise industry got shut down pretty much instantly. I was
Yeah.
extremely lucky that I got sent home. I was able to get back home and be with my family. But a lot of those ships shut down, and most of the crew were not able to get home. And they weren't
Oh,
able to get home for days, weeks, months.
wow.
In May of 2020, when I finally released the song, there were still 100,000 crew workers that were stuck on these ships.
That's crazy.
Mhm. And
Wow.
a lot of people thought, like, oh, well, how bad could it be? You're stuck on a cruise ship. And for the first, week or 2 weeks, it was very relaxing for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
then it got to a point where they had to socially distance within the ship, meaning they were confined to their cabins 21 hours a day. And
Oh, man.
these cabins are small.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is not like you're staying in a luxurious
Yeah.
hotel. They're confined. They have to socially distance when they're eating.
Jeez.
So they were really isolated. They were away from their own families, sometimes on the other side of the world. At one
That's,
point, a lot of the cruise companies stopped paying them because they
oh,
weren't really working. So the song was about raising awareness for all of these seafarers that were stuck on board and unable to get home. And I called it "How Still" because just the ships were not moving. They
yeah.
were not sailing anywhere. All these people were just trapped there. And it
Mm.
was something I wanted to do to raise awareness for these people that I was so close with, and I had worked alongside for so long.
Yeah. Wow. What a story. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you're blessed to have left and not be
I
stuck in
know.
that.
I know. I knew it was bad when I got my flight details. Like I went to bed, I didn't have any flight details, and I woke up the next morning and I had them. And they had put me on a first class flight, and I said, no company would ever just put me on a first class flight because they were being nice. That means that was the only seat open. And they
Really?
had to get me out of there.
Okay. I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Right, exactly. I wasn't complaining for sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's how I was like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. They want me to
Wow.
get out of here.
Jeez. And your friends that were on the ships, I mean, like, how did they recover from that? Like, I mean, if you could share a
I
bit.
mean, yeah, it was difficult for a lot of people.
I
Even within
bet.
the US, there were so many rules and so many laws that I had friends who had family in, like Iowa and places that were 10, 12 hours away from Florida because they made all these rules that if they were going to let the seafarers disembark, they couldn't be on commercial flights. So people's family drove from, the other side of the country just to meet them in Florida to pick them up, only for, the government to be like, well, nope, sorry, we changed our mind. You still can't get off the ship.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Jeez.
was
Oh
crazy. It was
man,
it was crazy, and
that is crazy. That's
it just
sad.
quite frankly, like it wasn't fair. As U.S. citizens, we're the one of the only countries where if you work at sea full time, you still have to pay taxes to the
Oh,
United States
really?
government. Yep, it's
Oh,
the
wow.
U.S. and the Netherlands. Every other country, because you're not there, you're not physically in the country, you don't pay at least the same amount of income tax because you're away working at sea. You're not using the roads and the other
Oh, I
things
see. Okay.
your taxes pay for. But in the US, you still need to pay your full tax amount. And when their government, needed them the most, their rights as citizens of the United States, as stated in the Constitution,
Yeah.
were denied from them, which is just, it's not fair
Yeah.
from an ethical standpoint. And it's not fair because of, the one time they need their country to stand up for them, we weren't there.
Oh, I bet that was hard. Yeah, extremely difficult.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Can't imagine just being on a ship, can't even get off. My family drove 30 plus hours and all of a sudden, oh, we can't let you off the ship. It's like,
exactly.
God.
Exactly. And
What a
there
mess.
were those were the people that I knew. There were so many other tragic stories of people I didn't know personally,
Yeah.
but unfortunately there were people who never got home from those ships. They took their own lives at sea because it was so
Wow.
isolating.
That's,
There was a famous story of a man whose wife died at home while giving birth to their child, and he was
wow. No way.
able to get home. There was truly tragedy out there,
Yeah.
and nobody was talking about it. Because I was involved in this community, it was obviously something that was very close to my heart. But
Yeah.
mainstream media wasn't talking about it, and that's why I said, okay, I'm going to try to raise awareness for this the best way I know how, and that's through music. And I was very blessed to get some mainstream media coverage. I was on Good Morning America,
Oh, you were?
on
Awesome.
ABC Localish, on some major platforms that got that conversation going and was talking about a lost group of people that nobody else really seemed to care about.
Wow. I'm glad that you had the platforms to do that. Yeah.
Thank you. I know, me too. You never know what's going to take off, and
Yeah.
when they want to listen to you. So I was really fortunate that I was put in a position where I could be a voice for those people. And then,
Yeah.
for the music video, I don't know if I sent it to you ahead of time. I reached out to a ton of people I knew that were stuck at sea, and they reached out to other people, and I had them hold up signs with notes that they wanted the world to know because they said,
Oh,
this might
wow.
be the opportunity
Yeah.
for people to actually get a glimpse into what is going on.
Yeah.
So in the music video, everybody's holding up signs just with the short message they wanted people to know while they were trapped at sea.
Wow. Have not seen this music video.
I'm going to have to send it to you then.
Please do. I love to see it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I do want to get more into your music. Is there an album in the future, in the works, or an EP or something in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am working on a new album of music, but this album is unlike all of the other albums that I've written before.
Okay.
Um, in my own life personally, and I know for a lot of people right now, it's a difficult, interesting, confusing time. And as somebody who gets to travel all around the country, all around the world, I really have seen a lot of the difficulties that people are going through right now. And I've thought and I've prayed about this, and I really think that my talent and my energy right now is best used by making people happy and making people smile and maybe forgetting about some of the things that are going on in their own world in their own lives. So I'm
Wow.
actually writing a comedy album. It's a musical comedy album
Really?
that's filled, yeah, that's
Oh wow.
filled because in my live shows I do a lot of musical comedy,
Oh, you
but
do? Okay.
but it's something that I've never taped and put out there for distribution. So I'm working on a musical comedy album with parodies and satire
Oh, that's cool.
and just material to make people laugh
Yeah.
and not be so serious. Even if it's for a moment in time. I see the reaction in my own live shows
Yeah.
and I go, this is what it's all about. It's about making people smile and have a good time. So that's currently my own the project I'm working on now. It's a personal challenge because it's unlike anything I've ever done before, but I know it's needed in the world right now.
Well, I'm glad God put that on your heart to do that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Me too. I'm very excited about it.
I'm excited to see some of it too, to enjoy that. So that's
Thank
gonna
you.
be cool. Yeah. And do you plan on like doing maybe like a tour with this, or like you plan on going, like what's the plans?
Yeah, well, I'm always kind of perpetually touring. It's like the tour with no end. I am a full-time traveling musician, so
Very cool.
what I was saying like in the beginning was sometimes people think I'm from different
Oh,
places
that's true. Yeah.
is because I'm in a different city every weekend performing,
Wow. So
um,
cool.
which is, such a blessing getting to
Yeah.
see so many different walks of life, meet so many people, getting to enjoy so many cultures and part of the country and part of the world. So I think once I release this album, it'll be more part of my touring strategy with the
Okay.
venues that I book, and I'll definitely incorporate it into more of my shows. But um, yeah, I'm even looking into next year. I'm booked about half of the year already where I'll be on the
Are you
road.
serious?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Good for you.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. No, I'm extremely blessed and extremely happy and looking forward to, trying some new places that I've never performed before and also getting to return to places that I've really, really loved and I've really gotten to enjoy. One thing like I'm looking forward to at the end of this year that I've never done before is I will be going to Alaska and Greenland actually to perform for our troops out there.
Very.
So that's something
Wow.
that I've never gotten the opportunity to do. I know a lot of very famous musicians and performers have done that, and I admire them. And
Yeah.
they've always talked about how it's such a fulfilling experience. So I know that that's going to be something that is a different experience, but also very fulfilling and an opportunity to give
Yeah.
back.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm glad you're gonna do that, Alyssa.
Thank you. Me too. I'm very excited. Although it's going to be kind of cold, in El Paso, I've gotten used to the sun every day. So
Yeah.
Alaska and Greenland, I'm definitely going to have to pack a little bit differently for that.
Oh yeah, of course. But hey, that's gonna be just so the beauty of Alaska and what you're gonna see is just gonna be mind blowing
I know. I
compared to
can't
here,
wait.
the desert.
Right. Yeah. Right. A little bit different. A little bit different for
Yeah.
sure.
I wanted to ask, do you have any shows coming up in El Paso? Because I'd love to see you live.
I don't have anything immediately coming up in El
No?
Paso. We used to have a great piano club that was downtown that
Yeah.
I performed at for about a year, but unfortunately they're not open anymore. But nothing immediately coming up, but hey, things change all the time. So
Yeah.
if something comes up in El Paso, I definitely will keep you updated and
Please
I always
do.
post it on social media and all that.
Yeah, I'd love to even meet you in person at one of your shows.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Absolutely. You got it.
Well, we'll go to the third chapter now of your of this episode, but of this interview. But I want to know more of your journey with the running for Miss Massachusetts. Just that's journey on that story there.
Oh yeah. Now it's going to be 10 years ago next summer
10 years.
that I was
Wow.
crowned Miss Massachusetts. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it was such a vital part in preparing me for everything that I would do afterwards. And I think that's one of the coolest things about pageants is that at the time you can't really see what you're preparing for. You just see the immediate competition. But
Mm.
I look back and it has prepared me for so many different chapters of my life. I was a senior in college and I was working at a music store after school. I was teaching children piano and voice lessons,
Okay.
and I had a woman come in And she confused me for another local pageant contestant. And I assured her, I said, no way, that's not me. You have the wrong girl. Um, but thank you. That's very flattering, but
Yeah.
I'm not definitely not the person you're thinking of. And I went and I did some research because I thought it was, kind of funny. And I was just curious. So I did some research on the program. And it turned out that Miss Massachusetts at the time was a student at Harvard. She was a dental student. And I was reading about her biography and I said, wow, I mean, this is an incredible lady. Like
Oh
this
yeah.
woman is incredible. She's such a role model. And I learned she was also a pianist. And that's where I learned that Miss America was the largest scholarship provider for women in the whole
Oh
world.
wow.
So it completely blew my mind, all these like preconceived notions that I had about pageants and about those programs and
Yeah.
about the, types of women that compete in them. So I said, this is something I could try. I was completely ignorant to it all.
Hmm.
And it was also a cool opportunity for me because I am originally a classically trained pianist, but I don't have a lot of opportunities to perform classical music in my career and with my original music. It was always
Okay.
something that was on the back burner.
Oh, okay.
So I said, this could be a really neat thing because I don't get to use that skill set all the time.
Hmm.
So at the time, there were, interview, swimsuit, talent, on stage question, and evening gown. The competition has changed a little since then, but it really does prepare you in every aspect. You have to be ready to think on your feet. You have to be, physically prepared. So it meant a lot more time, in the gym with that physical training.
Yeah.
There's a community service element to it. So being involved in your community, it really is on finding that all around well-rounded woman that can represent the state. And that's where I was originally from, so it was very important for me to represent my home
Oh yeah.
state
For
and
sure.
where I was born and raised and the people that raised me and supported me growing up. So the preparation was intense, but something like I said, I look back and those things that I were doing then prepare me for so many other chapters of my life, especially in the entertainment industry. I won Miss Massachusetts in July, and I was competing in Miss America by September. And
Wow.
I got to, make a new friend from every single state in the entire country, which was a really awesome experience.
Oh, I bet.
And
Yeah.
many of them I still talk to now.
Oh, that's
We
good.
have we have like a very unique bond
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of other people that you can relate to or have that bond with, like, hey, we competed at Miss America together. So it's
Yeah.
it's a sisterhood that still is strong, and
That's
that
good.
I still am in touch with. And competing at Miss America was great. It's a 2-week process. A lot of people don't realize that either. They just see the big thing on television, but they
Hmm.
don't realize you're getting there 2 weeks in advance. You have a roommate. My roommate was Miss Montana, who you
Oh
just
wow.
become so close with because you're with them every single day, and it's
Yeah.
early mornings, late nights. Um, and she grew up so differently, from the way I did.
Yeah.
Montana is such a big state compared to little Massachusetts. She was saying, you could drive 6, 7, 8 hours and not come across anything in Montana, where
Jeez.
you drive 6, 7, 8 hours from Massachusetts, you're 5, 6 states away.
Jeez.
So it's a really cool opportunity to meet
Yeah.
people with a very different background from you. Um, we got to go to the White House. We got to meet our senators
Wow,
and
that's so cool.
representatives. Yeah, we got to do so many cool things.
Wow.
Um, and I think that was overall one of the coolest parts of the pageant journey is, I was 21 years old, but I got to do so many cool things
Yeah.
that people my age would not otherwise have the
Oh yeah.
opportunity to do. And you just find yourself in these rooms, with imposter syndrome. You're like, I don't feel like I should really be here. I don't,
Yeah.
I got to be in the Boston St. Patrick's Day parade with the USO. I
Oh
got to
my
meet my
God.
governor. I got to meet the Beach Boys, which,
Oh,
as
that's
a
so
music
cool.
fan,
Yeah.
I was, so excited by. But you have this moment where you're like, I don't feel like I should be here.
Yeah, you feel out of place.
Um, but we all experience that, you know,
Oh,
in
of
our
course.
life and in
Yeah.
our careers, that imposter syndrome, and
Yeah, yeah.
even just like learning to overcome that and just like smile and nod and be like,
Yeah.
all right, even if I shouldn't be here, I'm like gonna get through it, and I'm here now, so there's no turning back.
Yeah.
Um,
It's true.
Even having that, I mean, we all
Yeah,
face that at some point in our lives, and
we have, yeah.
you know, the quicker you can get over that, the better off you're going to be.
I totally agree. Yeah, because I've experienced that where I'm like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. And they're
Right,
like, of
right. I
course
don't think
you're
I'm
supposed to
ready for
be.
this. Right,
Yeah, it's like I don't feel as much value to stay there, or like I'm not part. Like no, my friends are like, no, dude, you're right. Like you are part of this. Like okay,
right. You're there for a reason.
that's
You're
right.
there for a reason, and it's really easy to just compare yourself to the other people in the room and be like, well, I'm not there like they are. I didn't do but
Yeah,
you're there for a reason. You
that's
wouldn't be
right.
put in rooms that you're not ready for.
That's right. And I believe that God will put you in rooms with people in certain places despite like you would feel like I don't feel like I'm deserving, but God's like, I need you there. I want you there for a reason. And I
Exactly.
will open those doors for you to be there. So just be like, thank you, God, for these opportunities. Because man, this is a blessing just to be in front of, people that are either celebrities or just in the White House of certain, just who knows the people you meet. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. And I think that having that title, I always say like having a crown and sash, it's like having a megaphone. Because suddenly everybody's going to listen to what you have to say a little bit closer and a little bit
that's
louder.
true. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that there is a community service and a charity aspect of the pageants and of Miss America, because what you do with that platform and what you do with that voice at the end of the day really is what matters,
That's right.
because people are paying a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so important to me. I was doing music education programs in at-risk communities. I was going into the schools teaching and leading these programs
Yeah.
because I knew that with that title I could still do those things before, and I
Oh
still
yeah.
was doing those things before, but I knew with that title, people were going to pay a little bit more attention.
Mm.
So I knew I wanted to make my year really count and make my service project really count and be something that was meaningful to me, because I knew I had a real opportunity to draw attention and raise awareness for issues that mattered. So,
Yeah.
um, like you said, you're put in that room and you're given that opportunity for a reason. So a huge part of what I do in my mission in life is, okay, I've been given that platform. How am I going to turn around and use that to help others? I've been
Mm.
helped, so how am I going to help others
Right.
now?
Yeah. And I like that. Yeah, there's that saying, if you're blessed, then be a blessing to someone else. You know,
Absolutely.
so yeah, or be that light. You're a light of inspiration. If you are that light, and inspire someone else that might need it. Be a light to someone out there that might need that too, of just some kind of words of encouragement. Who knows? So
Absolutely. And I think I love what you're saying there about being that light in somebody else's life, because a lot of times you don't even realize it.
yeah, you
You don't
don't.
even know how your
Yeah.
words or your presence or how your
Right.
story is being an inspiration to somebody else, because a lot of times they never have the opportunity to tell you.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
I did have the opportunity to eventually tell that Miss Massachusetts, like, hey, you were a huge inspiration to me.
Wow. Yeah.
And I have had the opportunity where people I randomly met, I mean, this was back in May. I was working on a cruise ship, a very, very short cruise ship contract. And I had a girl who was the singer in one of the headline shows come up to me and she said, you have no idea what it means to be meeting you. And
Wow.
I would just didn't think anything of it. She goes, 5 years ago, I was on a cruise with my family over Christmas and I saw you perform. And I said,
Oh, so
wow, I
cool.
want to be a singer on a cruise ship one day. Then I
Wow.
knew what I wanted to do. You were such a
That's
huge,
awesome.
and I had no idea,
Yeah.
that I inspired something in
Yep.
this woman, in this young woman, that made her say, hey, this is what I want to do. So
That's very cool.
the
Love that.
the odds that we would be in the same place that she had the
Yeah,
opportunity to
exactly.
tell me are are so small, but it makes you think about all the people that never have the opportunity to tell you that you've been a role model in their life. So take every opportunity to be that positivity and be that light in somebody else's world, because you have no idea what that might lead to or how you could inspire their lives.
That's right. Well said, Alyssa. Love that. Awesome. Well, before we close on this episode, I just want to thank you again for coming on Rhythm and Roads. How can they find you on social media and just follow your and just find you on your music platforms?
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media platforms, all the music streaming under Alissa Musto. It's Alissa, and my last name is Musto. So if you look that up, pretty much anywhere and everywhere you will find me. My Instagram handle is
Okay.
Alissa Musto Music if you want to find me directly.
And then also Apple Music and Spotify, you have your music on there.
Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you
Amazon.
stream music, you'll be able to find me there.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you, Alyssa. And I actually look forward to seeing your project down the road of what you told us earlier. And yeah, it's just going to be really cool to see. And I hope to meet you in person. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
there's
That's
guests
right. We're
that.
not too far away, so
Oh, I know. Yeah.
let's do it.
Well, I mean, I'm here in El Paso too.
Right. So
Yeah, so it's like,
it's not that big of a place. So let's definitely have to get coffee or something sometime.
yeah, that'd be great. And for those watching, if you'd like to come on Rhythm and Roads as well and share your story, just find my Instagram, Rhythm and Roads Official. If you'd like to watch the other episodes, you can Google it of Rhythm and Roads with Joshua Jacob, and all the episodes right away come up. So, but yes, thank you again, Lissa, for coming on and sharing your journey, your story. You are definitely a light of inspiration, and you have blessed so many people that you may not even know who you bless, besides the one you just mentioned. But I know God still has a plan. He's working through you. He still has a lot more beautiful doors of opportunities ahead of you. And yeah, it's just amazing what He's already done. So,
Thank you so much, Joshua. And right back at you. Congratulations on 2 years and
oh,
for all the guests that you've had and everything that you've done.
well,
You are
thank you.
certainly a presence and a light in so many people's lives.
Thank you. That means a lot, and it's great to have that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Lisa. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for watching.